All right, guys, welcome to One Off Outdoors. I'm going to be putting this windshield on my wife's new 2023 Fishpro. I do believe it'll fit every model. All right, there's a couple of things you have to do. When you get this, it all comes together. It came without directions or instructions or anything. And then there's virtually no videos out there. The people where I bought this from, they'd never seen one before and never installed one, so I was kind of on my own. I found some prints online. And this is them. I don't know if they're going to come out, but and then there's a second page, and then there's a third page, and then there's this final page, all of which you would think would be very helpful, but they really were not. So we're going to do it this way. All right, when you get it, they're going to give you a long Allen screw, Allen wrench, right here, and you're going to use it to pull two bolts out. They're going to come right out of this. This is where it's hinged. You can see it's kind of elevated right now, but they're going to come out of that hole right here on this front hinge where my thumb is, and you'll see them. You'll see that hex head, and you're going to take both of those out, and they'll look like this. When you do, that will allow the windshield to separate from the base. Now, in order to get the base loose, this shock, it has this T-head in it. You'll lift it up. You'll get it lined up. You'll see the groove that this can come out of. And it'll just pop right out. Okay? Now, you've got to take your base and let's install it. Okay, so this base is going to permanently replace this upper shield. There's two T30 bits here and here that you take out, and when you do, this lifts up. You can see the tabs in the back, right back here, and that just slides out. Those tabs just lift right out once it's kind of elevated like this, okay? Then, this base plate has the same tabs. You can see here and here, and we're going to insert those into those slots, just like that, and set it down. And then you'll need to get you a flashlight and kind of line this up. Okay, so once you get this put in place, there's these large screw holes here and here on the outside, and they've given you a little longer screw than what you took out, and they're going to go right in there. And when you put these in, these are coarse threaded screws. Find the hole, and you're in plastic, so you don't want to over tighten. Again, make sure that's good and centered, and then tighten them down. Okay, now that you've got your base in place, you've got your screws in, now you're going to put on the windshield. Now, if you notice these two tabs down here, this is your hinge. These tabs are going to go in these large grooves. Now, the directions that I pulled down online said to insert this, then insert this, shock, and then put in these screws. But it's too hard to do it that way, so we're going to reverse that a little bit. Insert your tabs, just like that. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your screws and go ahead and put those through your hinge. All right, we've got our two bolts tightened down. When you do these two bolts, make sure that you get this one started a little ways. Don't tighten it all the way down. Get this one started, tighten it down a little bit, each side, kind of keep them balanced out, and then get them torqued down. Now, what you'll notice is your shock is still not attached, so this will actually slide forward, and this will lay down. Now, I think this is more for safety reasons, so that if there's an accident and you go off the front of the ski, this shock will release and the windshield will knock down. That way, it's more of a safety deal. Now, if you happen to be fishing and you think the height of this is too high, we'll test it when we go out on the water with it. Then you can lay this down, but I would have reservations about popping this shock in and out of this groove too many times, because I can see you wearing that piece down. I think most rods will fit over it. Now, we'll get up here on the ski and I'll show you how to lock in that shock. Okay, what you'll see here is you can see the shock sticking out the top. This kind of rocks back and forth. It'll go forward and then it'll come back. Now, this is where we ran into a problem. It says just to snap this down, but it won't work. What you've got to do is you've got to move this forward, push this shock down by hand, get it in a position, pull this back, and have yourself some space in here to latch that down. So Kim is going to hold that. She's going to do her best to get a good view of this. So again, I'm going to push this shock down. I'm going to get the top over it, just like that. You can see I've got about 1 inch right in here of space. It takes that in order for this to latch down. Then you'll hear it click loud. Here it goes. Hear how loud that snap was? If you don't get it in right, you won't hear that loud snap. And if you try to do it with that shock all the way up, there's just not enough room. You're going to hit up in here. So you need to push this down, and this is designed to push down just like this. Again, if you're in a wreck, this is going to go forward, and all this is going to release. But again, I would be cautious about just releasing this, 19 times when you go out to fish. I have noticed I've got a little bit of rubbing right here on my chart plotter cover. So maybe over time, as the sun warms this up, it'll kind of flex out a little bit, and hopefully that won't be a squeaking point. All right, keep watching One Off Outdoors, guys.